Okay, looks like we're rolling here. We'll see how we turn out. Sometimes this is a little tricky. Should be okay. I just gotta kind of redo things here, so pardon me. You can see the chat area. Ooh. Gassy. Ooh. Alright. Take a little load off my back, man. That puppy was bothering me a little earlier. So what we got today, this evening I should say, is this set of KYX Chanquish, not Chinese knockoff, but KYX been doing stuff. They're, some of the stuff they're making is pretty nice. Kind of their own version, kind of not. Most of these Chinese rims are pretty inexpensive knockoff copies of Vanquish or SSD or similar. That's what these are. These are the KYX kicks, some people call them, rims. There's simple 5-star pattern in the back. Real simple setup. These actually went together, or have been going together quite easily, which is kind of nice, considering some of these things can be a real pain. Now, one thing that's interesting about these rims that I'm seeing here, I'm not sure this second cheap pair of these, cheap Chinese knockoff rims I've ever really bought. First pair were a month and a half ago or so. I bought a set for the Rift in 2.2, and they are a little bit different in the way the face is set up. Let me go ahead and pop these out. I went ahead and set these. When you get them, there's only 2 screws in the back, and then 2 screws in the hub area holding everything together. Go ahead and take these out. Kind of show you what is a little different on these compared to what I've experienced with like SSD or any of the other aluminum rims I've ever had before. I don't know if Vanquish is doing this themselves or other brands similar to Vanquish SSD. Not seeing anything quite like this. The 2.2s I have, let's see. Got a couple there. There it is. These things around, I'm losing them everywhere. So you got your inner ring, your hub face, your rear wing, and your hub. And in a lot of these pieces, this cap piece tends to just slide in and out. This set, it's hard to say because I don't have my bifocals, but I have tried to push the center cap out of one of the other ones, and it doesn't move at all. If they're pop-out center caps, they are not coming out because you can see I'm pushing the end in. So I don't think on this set of rims, I don't think the center cap comes out, which is okay. But what it means is you're going to have to mount the hub on the rig with your lock nut, and then use the 6 bolts to line up and put your wheel on the hub, as opposed to putting it all together, throwing it down, locking it down, and then sliding your cap over. This cap don't come off. I've tried now 2, maybe 3. The one I didn't push on too hard. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting little setup. So I don't know of any other company that's making the cap a solid feature. Now, I've seen people doing this on the rims where they've left the hub and the hub's mounted on the rig, and they use the 6 bolts scale-wise to remove the wheel from leaving the hub on the rim or on the rig, and removing the rest of the rim with the tire. So I have seen that setup. That's not a strange one. The only thing I'm talking about is this center cap. Usually these pop off so you can put the tire on and off with the lock nut and then just slide the cap on. But these appear to be machined right into the face. And of course this top is a ring. This can come off. These are scale bolts. 2mm scale looking bolts that will unscrew and that ring will come off. You don't have to take it off to do your mounting. So these, for all shits and giggles, appear to be Pitbull Rock Beast XLs in 1.9, 4.75 by 1.7-1.9. You see it says Pitbull on top right there, USA right there, and then Rock Beast XLs. Same thing on both sides. And USA's right up in the top. Size right there. Open up the lip. There is a rib, some ribbing support on the side walls. It's a fairly thick carcass, but this isn't a Pitbull Rock Beast XL. This is an exact copy of a Pitbull Rock Beast XL, and I mean exact right down to the USA label. How do I know these are knockoffs? Because I bought them on Amazon and it was only less than 25 bucks for the set of 4. The Pitbull XLs are typically $39 a pair. They do come with a foam. It's a memory-ish type foam. It's not super stiff, but stiff. It's not super memory. Springs back fairly quick. I don't have any other 1.9 foams to try, so we're gonna fly with these for now. No holes in the rims when you slide it all together. I've seen some of these rims have some, different sets that I have. These 2 Poos, they've got little divots right here to allow venting, but once you put it all together, they actually still don't vent. So you do have to vent if you want your rims, add venting if you want your stuff vented. But as you can see here, you get a bag with all the screws, and then you get some extra center bolt, rim bolts, and then some extra scale bolts down there in the bottom. So you do get some spare bolts with it. No assembly connectors. These scale bolts you need, like with the SSD scale bolt stuff, you get a adapter in there, I think, with it, or maybe it's the Vanquish. You get the 2mm adapter. You have to buy the SSD adapters. They're like 3 for $9.99 or something like that. But anywho, what I've been doing on the assembly of these, I went ahead and put 3 together already, so this would be a fairly quick one. I'm taking where it says, of course, Rock Beast here in the center, and I'm setting it up so the KYX, the kicks, is centered out right to the top, right to the center of that Rock Beast comment or stamp comment, yeah. Just so it's kind of they're all uniform in that respect. A little anal retentive, but no big deal. And then my tire piece. Put you in here. Okay, I think that's pretty good. A couple of screws in there. Even a light push. More here. Didn't take very much pressure, a little bit. These foams aren't super fat, but they are a little on the thicker side, so you do have to push them a tad. And then I put my 5, screws in. Get 2 of them, 3 of them in there and started screwing, and then just star pattern your rim together a little bit down each time and till she's snug. Now again, there's no vent holes in this, and I'll show you when I get her done. You can vent. I'm probably going to determine some way to do that. I don't like putting holes in the tires, so I may do something on the rims here. But what I used to do decade ago or so, when the AX10 Scorpion rig first came out, and we did a lot of mud and water running, and a lot of waterproof and making sure everything was, well seated and secured, and things were in, waterproofed as much as possible, and shoe gooing and T1000ing servos and balloons and all sorts of stuff. But I wouldn't run the tires without any venting on it. Now you can see it is full of air. You can see it just pushing up, no air release at all. So that ain't bad, but as you can tell, it's got air pressure in there, so the foam ain't gonna collapse. But what I used to do, and I got stuff, my other zip strips I'm gonna pull back in, is before I put the tire together, back these screws out just a bit. Until you can start squeezing some air out. There you go. Squeeze some air out. Now you can kind of back it off a little bit more until it starts sucking air back in. There it is. There she sucked back in. So, what you can do, as long as the rim's not snugging together, it's not letting air out. So you do have to kind of work it a bit. I think she's alright. I think she just needs to kind of pull apart a tad. Oh, she's still a little snug in there. So you could probably take your rim halves, and what these 2.2s had is in the rim half they had a little divot right at the seam. So when the halves come together, you can suck a little air through there. But at this stage right here, where you can push it, get it out, get it in, air's out and in, it's nice and in there, is I would take a zip strip, and I'll do a video on this tomorrow. I have to find my zip strips and get them in the house, and it's like 11:30 at night. I don't feel like going out and dealing with stuff. But you take a zip strip. I had some long ones that were resealable, so you could undo the hook and open them up. You could use 2 zip strips and kind of pull them tight until they go, get a spot, and then just leave them where they're at and slip them off and on the tires. But add the zip strip and push out some of that air. Kind of weird. Push it together this way, but try to push it together this way. And you can, oh, there, now that's gonna work. There, push it together this way and seals out, kind of like a regular bead. Interesting. That could work out. So, anyways, take your zip strip and then zip it around here until you get just a little negative pressure in there. Lock it all together. And let me try to do that with this one. I'm gonna try it by hand. It's hard to get equal by hand, but so I'll redo these things. All right. Go ahead and try to just keep it. I'm just pushing it so it's kind of flat a little bit around the tire. I'm just gonna kind of snug it up. Leave that a little bit of negative pressure in there. And it will be negative pressure in a way that, because when you push some of the air out and then seal it, of course these tires want to suck back out. See, and they kind of flatten in a little bit. I might be even a little bit too much, because it does want to stay sucked in just a little bit. Show you the difference, because you can kind of see it if you're looking already, how the center is kind of set in a little bit. Careful, and end up screwing it up. So, see, still not, but now you can get a full collapse. And it doesn't quite push out. You can see it's still got some vacuum in there because it's not allowing the tire to fully puff back out. Just a little different. So if you get these set just right, more air than this one, a little less than this one, you can actually have a really good look. It's like having your tires basically down at 5 pounds, 3 to 5 pounds of pressure allows it to collapse, wrap around those rocks and stuff, but yet fully form back out for the most part when you get this right. The best thing is when you got them sealed, you don't get water in them. We run into a lot of water. We're in Michigan, so lakes are everywhere. Water table's kind of high in some places. So if you can keep them sealed, you can keep the foams and everything else in good shape without having to take them apart. But this ain't too bad. It's only 5 bolts. Some of these rims are a real sketchy pain in the ass to put together. So with those on there, like I said, I've already set them all up and built them. I don't think I'll need these. Put these aside for the moment. So yeah, that's ooh, well, it's not actually sounding like I'm not hearing any feedback, because I forgot to do one thing, and I should maybe try that just to see. Well, I should be hearing feedback because this thing's playing. Should be, but I'm not getting my voice coming back out. So yeah, let me double check this just to make sure I've got it done right. Speakers. Put that on. Let's make sure I can hear myself talking. Should be able to, hopefully, if I've done it right. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can I hear myself? I see it. The one mic's picking up. Alright, let me try something. Yep, that's right there. Let me come here for a quick sec. Okay. Alright, yep. I am getting sound out of there, but why don't I hear me? Interesting. No sound? Any sound? Why don't I have any sound? Weird. Let's pop you back up. Let's come over here for a minute. Let's try this. I should be hearing sound. Should be hearing sound. Go back. Good share link. Let's paste and go. And we'll check this and see if we've got sound. Okay, we got sound. Good deal. Alright, well that was interesting. Just wanted to double check. Didn't think I was hearing myself. Well, if I can't hear myself, then you guys, chances are you're not hearing me, and I'm not saying anything. You're just seeing nothing. Nope, it's working. So, oh, this thing's getting to be a pig. Now, let's go ahead. Now, of course, RedCats have their center cap, and with the covers and the trio stuff, it pushes the piece out, and the cap not enough thread on the nut, basically, to allow the cap to thread on. So I use just a little bit of E6000, like shoe glue, put a little bit around the center cap at the thread hole, and then just push it on and let it dry for an hour or two. And that actually will work pretty well. But yeah, can't use the center caps, stock ones, once you add some of the stuff on there, because it doesn't leave you enough thread on your axle. And when I added the rear trio portal covers, that's what took place, is it took up some of that extra juice, or extra, I should say, shaft area, and doesn't allow it to go. So what you have to do, because these are non-directional, they go on, they don't have any directions, so you can put them on tire either way, and it doesn't have to go to right or left because the tread's flopped on the inside and outside, so no matter how you put them on, they go. But, like I said, to put these on, you actually have to install the hubs. You see this one, I've got the nuts or the bolts in there already. Oops, wrong side. Got them in there already backwards. That's what I did. Move you. Take the rest of these out. Got them in the wrong side. Realize that when I slipped them in there, that I slipped them in the wrong side. Okay. Install your hubs. So like I say, these center cap pieces on these particular tires do not appear to come off. So you actually have to put the hubs on, and then take the tire and install it on the hub with your 6 bolts. Which could be kind of a trick to do without cross-threading. So you do want to be careful when you're kind of throwing these things on here. Make sure you're not cross-threading. Make sure you're getting everything in the square thread spot. And like that. Snuggle. That's the one. Okay. Slide her up on the side, make this just a smidge easier here. I'm gonna go get some new glasses and bifocals, I think, so I can see this closer detail better. Like that. I'm going to wait and install those tomorrow because I am going to turn around and do a little bit of pushing and shoving to get them in place. There we go. New 1.9s with fake rock piece. Now these are butyl rubber. This is the biggest and probably the damn near only difference besides where the title's actually probably made. Who knows, the guys at Rockbeast could be having this very company make their tire and their compounds, and they ran their other compound, just a butyl rubber compound, using their molds. They could have copied the mold and just made an exact duplicate of it. Hard saying. But that's kind of why I went ahead and grabbed these. I couldn't find them anywhere in stock in the States, the real pit bulls. You know, running through, you know, figured, okay, I'll buy a cheap set of just knockoff tires until I find some real pit bulls. And actually ran across these and went, wow, those are real. Those ain't pit bulls. Ain't no way they're pit bulls at $25 for all 4 tires shipped from China. So they're not the real quote-unquote pit bulls, and didn't say nothing about rubber. I'm pretty sure it just said butyl rubber, and I'm pretty sure that's all these are, is a butyl rubber. It's a decent rubber, but it's butyl rubber, and it's not like the compounds that they're using. So they look actually really nice. They've got a good look. They have all the lettering. I mean, there is nothing that looks different. Even the lugs on the side are pretty much identical. So yeah, I'm not a big, you know, let's buy this China stuff because it's cheap. Because here's the problem with it. These, if you didn't know any better, you would think these are Pitbull Rockbeast XLs in 1.9. You wouldn't know you're getting butyl rubber and not their G8 or red compound. I think with them it's red and green compound or red and gold, something like that. You wouldn't be getting their custom compound. You'd be getting butyl rubber. The biggest fish is, as I said, I paid less than $25 for the set of 4 of these tires and foams that came in them. The Rockbeasts are like $34 a pair. So basically $70, maybe $80, possibly $90. It could be as much as $40 a pair with no foams. Well, the Rockbeast, you might get foams. At any point, 35 to 40 bucks a pair, $25 for all 4. So if this is what everybody's seen and went out and bought these cheap less than $25 set of 4, you know, Rockbeast, how long is Pitbull going to be in business for if nobody's buying their tires? Because they can buy the Chinese knockoff with a, you know, cheaper rubber for less than 25 bucks a set of 4. Now, I would have bought Rockbeast had I been able to find them. I couldn't find them, and it's probably a good thing because things have changed, and I really got to start watching my pennies for a while until I can get back and get some more steady work coming in again. So anyways, I went ahead and bought these, and I bought these knockoff rims because these didn't look like anything else anybody has done. So I'll give it to KYX. It's very similar to other rims, very similar probably a set of Vanquish. You know, basically the 5-star, that's almost identical. But again, it's kind of the same thing. These are $42, less than 45 bucks after tax, shipped from China. So literally I've got $70 in rims and tires. Couldn't buy just the Pitbull tires for that, let alone the rims. SSDs are 55 a pair. Vanquish are 50, 55, 70 a pair, $100 a pair, depending on the rim you're getting and the B-block setup. So just, you know, the rims or the tires on their own would have been more than I paid for all 4 of these. They should do well. I've seen people doing some reviews. Not as sticky, not as well. Should be able to soften this up, WD-40, and I'll probably throw some WD-40 on them to try to help soften, let it soak in, and supple them up a little bit. I'm going to take them back off tomorrow, and I'll turn around and get my zip strips and throw those in there so they're kind of zipped out. But I didn't have a second set of tires for these things, and I figured I should get one set because I've been running the stockers for over a year, at least to have something different to beat on them with. So while I didn't buy the pit bulls, I do still plan to. I'll run these, but I will spend the money and give Pitbull their fair share because they really made a nice tire. It might be a little pricey in comparison, but to get good quality US made items, it's going to be worth it to pay the extra few bucks for them. Much worth it to pay the few extra bucks for those tires, because if Pitbull goes out of business because nobody's buying their tires, everybody's buying the cheap Chinese knockoff, versions, then sadly nobody's going to innovate. I've been in RC a long time. I started in RC in the late 70s, in the early mid 80s, got out. I was pretty young at the time, obviously. Got out of RC. Started playing bass guitar and chasing girls, and RC just didn't fit into that regimen anymore. And then I got older and started getting out of music and getting back into AC in the early 2000s, and then the HPI Baja around 2008. Then I got really busy in life around 2012. Got back out last year with the Rona. Everybody getting shut down. State, shut my jobs down and everybody else's jobs and the work I was doing. I was doing remodel work in assisted living memory care facilities right where here in Michigan, Governor Whitmer stuck all the sick people and killed tens of thousands of old people, just like Cuomo did in New York, where he just resigned. Oh, because of sexual innuendos and touchy-feely stuff. He should have been arrested for murder of over 10, 20, 50, 80, 100,000 elderly New York citizens, just like Governor Whitmer here in Michigan should be arrested and charged with murder with over 10,000 U.S. and Michigan citizens for those that were killed because she put all the sick people in the nursing homes when the government, the federal government, set up an emergency hospital around Detroit and Grand Rapids, I believe it was, to handle anything of this Rona issue, to not put those people in with our elderly and our most vulnerable. But they did it anyways and killed tens of thousands of people. In my opinion, that's murder. They should be going to jail for murder, dereliction of duty, sedition, potentially treason. But no, we're supposed to be good about that, not say anything, shut up, don't own anything, and be happy. Well, I got news for you, government. You got another thing coming, motherfuckers. So anyways, Pitbull Rock Beast, knockoffs. Cheap Chinese knockoffs. So be careful, ladies and gentlemen. People could... These are on Amazon. I bought them. I went to look at my tracking and stuff 4 days later. The ad was still there. The pictures were gone. Now you can't even find the ad. I'm glad they came in. They got shipped out, but the ad's off Amazon. So they may not even allow these back on there because these are theft. Absolute theft. It ain't no different than what this company that made this Pitbull Rock Beast did than what any, neighborhood criminal did when they jumped in your house while you were gone and stole, your stuff, jewelry or tools or whatever it is. Because they basically steal it. They're stealing sales right out of Pitbull's hands, and if Pitbull's out of business, who's going to develop the next cool line of tires in this case? Because I'm going to guarantee you it won't be a company like Integy or what's the other one, Injora. These companies won't innovate nothing. They'll just cut, copy, and paste. Injora's so bad, and Integy is another one that's terrible. These two companies out of China just steal, outright steal. I won't buy Integy, and I won't buy Injora. But the Injora internal spring shocks are just stolen racing or hot racing desert lizards. So they're even stealing their own innovative stuff from their own country, which is kind of interesting. Which, racing or hot racing, they do their own stuff, very similar to other things, but they do have their own designs. So companies like these are just stealing their own stuff. There's no innovation there. And if you rely on companies like these to buy your stuff from when the real companies are gone, Vanquish, HPI is a perfect example with the HPI Baja. Then you got King Motors knocking them off. Now HPI is almost all but defunct. They're just starting to release some stuff again. Finally, no new designs, all old stuff, because they're kind of hammered. That King Motors copy of the HPI Baja 5Bs and 5Ts just literally destroyed HPI, which is why we've had nothing from HPI since about 2013. That's it. It's the only reason. So, I bought these. I don't feel good about buying them, but I couldn't find them anywhere. And I will buy Pitbull Rock Beast as soon as I got the extra money to make sure I can cover them, and then I can find them in stock. I will be buying a set of these, and I will be buying a set of Vanquish rims, most likely, to actually get some honest money into the honest designers' honest designs. So this thing weighs, I'm going to do a flip here, pretty heavy. This sucker is a good 8 pounds, 7.5, 8.5 pounds, give or take. Got a bit of brass on there. So I think these actually do pretty good. Let me see, which one did I... Yeah, this is the one. I flipped it around. This one on this side is the one I've collapsed. So as you can see, I'll just push down a little bit. It flattens right out. It bubbles right up. It sits there, but it's got a little flat spot because I got a little too much air out of it. Compared to this side, which is, no squeezed air out. It's all the way down, and you can see it does collapse, but not well because there's too much air in there. So the options are to vent or leave them unvented and squeeze out some air. So that's what I'll end up doing tomorrow. The other thing I'm going to do tomorrow, and I was going to do that today, but I had to take some pressure off my back. It was really starting to bother me later after dinner. But I'm going to pull up my Sky RC Bluetooth scales that I use in my drag racing stuff. And we're going to Bluetooth scale, corner scale this bad boy. Once I get the tires done, I'll put those on, put the new tires on. And we'll corner scale this, take the body off. There ain't really much you can move around. The way things are placed on this in this rig, a little bit, and they got a few things up here in the body, the light controller and stuff that I can move around a little bit. These few things here we can move around, which I will, because that double-sided tape ain't working the greatest. So, but I'm gonna try to place things around and do a little weight biasing and see how she sets, what the weight biasing actually is, how things actually line up, and go from there. So, alright, I'm going to kill this one. We are at however many minutes we are, so I want to say thanks for hanging around. Appreciate you stopping in and checking it out. Hit that like, that share, and that subscribe button. When you hit the subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. And when you do that, choose the options, little three dots. There's the little three dots there by the bell. Hit that and choose all notifications. So you get all notifications and not the personal ones. Alright, man. Thanks a lot. Everybody have a good night, and we will talk at you later.